Ahoy, hoy, I'm Pavo.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to episode 32 of That's No Moon.
It's a podcast.
It's your weekly digest of everything that you need to know in the Star Wars world, news-wise. How are you, Neil?
I'm very well. So after a week off...
I went to Star Wars Identities.
Which I'd already been, and I was a good boy, wasn't I?
You was a good boy.
I kept very stum about it.
Because I don't know when it closes.
I'm not sure.
This is at the O2 in London, England, and it's a load of
it's interactive,
screen-used props and costumes.
Yeah.
The artwork was the stuff that I loved.
Yeah.
All of the little sketches from like the original Star Wars.
I know, the original Ralph McQuarrie
stuff.
Yeah.
And, I got very, very close to like the original, not really close because it was up behind glass, but the Princess Leia slave costume and just looking at the intricacies of how it's made is fantastic.
Yeah, was it busy?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
No.
I think in our little group, there was only about 5 of us in our little group. So we had loads of space. And then you do this interactive thing where
Which
you
is
choose
fun, isn't it? Your Jedi.
What did you choose?
I can't remember what it was now.
I was a Wookiee. I chose a Wookiee.
I was human.
Oh, you was human?
Yeah. Human.
Yeah, I was a human. I was a Wookiee Jedi.
But I went to the dark side.
Did you?
Yeah.
You chose the dark
I just
side.
thought it'd be a bit of fun. See what it's like on that side. They get a bad rap sometimes.
They do. Right. Fire away, Neil.
So last week was Star Wars Day, May the 4th.
Oh, it was.
Did you celebrate it in any way?
I did by going to Star Wars Identities on May the 3rd.
Okay, well, close enough. I didn't know whether you watched any of the movies or anything. On the day, no. The Last Jedi director, Rian Johnson, tweeted a happy day to all the fans with a little treat of himself and John Williams in the studio together, the picture, which was really nice to see. Good old John Williams. He also opened up about Star Wars to Entertainment Weekly, where he revealed he had a small request from The Force Awakens director J.J. Abrams, and it transpires that he'd asked J.J. to change Rey going to find Luke with BB8, but instead of BB8 taking R2. And this is what he said. Yes, the big favour was I asked if R2 could come with Rey and if BB8 could stay behind with the Resistance. Originally it was BB8 who went with Rey, which makes sense for the story in a way, but I asked, can you do me this solid and switch the droid? Can you do me this solid? But that's exactly what it said. So Rian Johnson also has already spoken about how he was going to how he was up to speed with the production of The Force Awakens to help him shape and structure the story of his part in the saga, and that BB-8 will also be a big part of Episode 8 and will provide much comic relief, which I think is a given. He will also be reunited with Poe Dameron, as we saw in the trailer, and Johnson also spoke of Luke and shatter the perception that he will only have a supporting role in the movie. Now, I didn't realise this, but people are still saying they think Luke hasn't got as big a role as they initially thought. So he shattered this and dispelled the theory, confirming what Kathleen Kennedy said at the Star Wars celebrations and saying that he will be a massive part of the movie. The director also said about Luke in the movie. Figuring out where his head was the very first thing I had to do when writing this movie. I had to crack this, and it had to be something for me that first and foremost made sense. Why did Luke Skywalker go off to this island? And Johnson also says that this was the starting point, and that's what this entire movie explores. So is that a little... I think that we all know that, really, don't we? But it was just quite interesting that he opened up and actually spoke about it, and I thought it was quite nice. So, going back, was there anything in there that you could take from, or...? Well,
I think saying that I think it makes sense for R2 to go with Rey than BB-8, because BB-8 is
new,
but BB-8 is also Poe Dameron's droid,
and Luke wouldn't have a clue who he was, whereas R2 would have some relevance to make Luke. Oh,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, I know him.
Yeah, so it makes more sense that from a story point of view. Plus, it also pairs off. You keep the new with the new, and you reunite the old with the old.
Yeah.
So I think from that point of view, it seems only sensible that Luke, because like you say, that there's that scene that's in the in Rey's Force vision which I think we're going to come back and actually see that moment.
Right.
In some kind of flashback or something. We're going to see that moment when he's putting his metal hand on R2's head.
But then he's also, in the Last Jedi trailer, it's definitely Luke, stood with R2, and I think that's from the
Watching
same
the
moment.
burning building.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it also shows that Rian Johnson's got a bit of balls about him to go up to JJ and say, look, can you change the ending?
Yeah.
I know it's not a major plot point, but then again, in regards to the fact that they need to make it flow, and he's obviously writing his episode.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of sort of, well, it fits in better with what I'm going to do for my story.
And then it does that. I mean, it might be working the same with episode 9, that the script writers or Colin Trevorrow is there saying to Rian Johnson, if you add this in, it'll fit into this. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
I mean, that's the thing, is that they haven't got, as much as we sort of moan about George Lucas and the prequels, in the original trilogy, he was like the all-seeing eye. He was the person that was around everywhere. So it was sort of almost like that he was the run through the whole trilogy. So if they needed to say, well, yeah, what can we do to make that? I mean, I pretty much, no disrespect to Richard Marquand, rest in peace, but I'm pretty sure that he was the director of Return of the Jedi. I think, it was his ideas, and Richard Marquand would then go to him and say, is this okay?
Yeah, is this what you
I've always
want?
had that, I might be completely wrong, but I've always had that feeling about Return of the Jedi.
Well, it's not an unknown sort of thing with film directors and producers. If you think back, like Tobe Hooper and Poltergeist, they're almost certain that Spielberg directed that film in the end. And I think the same with Return of the Jedi. I genuinely do, because apparently George Lucas was pretty much there the whole time on set. Whereas like Empire, he wasn't. He just got the dailies, apparently. So, right, moving on. MSW Making Star Wars has released the names from the some names, from the upcoming Han Solo movie. And they are as follows. Rebolt, which is Ian Kenny. Moloch, I think that's pronounced right, Moloch, Harley Durst. Moloch's henchman, Tien Hoang. Do you like that pronunciation?
Nice.
Grem, which is a possible location, ? Emily's Nest, but Emily spelled Emlys, another possible location. And then 3 names that were just with question marks. Val, which could be anybody, Mother Proxima, and Dryden Voss. Now, do you know anything more about these?
I don't. I mean, it ties in with another story that came out a couple of days ago. I don't know if you saw that, about them. They found some character names for The Last Jedi as well.
Oh, right.
But they're possibly code names.
Yeah.
Which, again, these could be code names. I mean,
Ian Kenny, though, he's the guy from the
Sing Street. Yes, yeah. So
that's
what was his name?
Rebolt. But they also were saying about The Last Jedi with the Black Series toys that are coming out. Some sort of spoilers about what's in it, so I didn't read.
Yeah, that was the story that I saw.
Right,
yeah,
I didn't read it because it said spoilers ahead. So
yeah, it's not necessarily spoilers as such, because I think it's just that they're sort of saying that one of the names they're assuming is Snoke.
Right.
But obviously it's. I think.
Well, he's going to be in it, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think it's especially when it comes to the figures you're talking about.
Right.
There's certain things that they put in the description that give you an idea of what Snoke could be.
Right, okay.
So that's where the spoiler, I think,
right, which I wouldn't want to know anyway.
But yeah, I mean, it's all very nice to have things like character names, but until you see pictures, I mean, to me, it doesn't really mean anything. They can call them anything.
Well, it's like that name Val with the question mark. Yeah. Val's such a generic.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine that. What was the one with the nest?
Emily's Nest.
I mean, that you can imagine that might be like a hangout where all the
Well, the one that I picked up on was Moloch or Moloch. Moloch's henchman. I assume he's some sort of baddie or gangster.
What, a bit like Jabba the Hutt?
Yeah,
that kind of thing. One of the
that Han or maybe Woody Harrelson's character have a run in.
A gangland boss.
Yeah, or he's doing an errand for and it goes wrong. Or a caper with that one.
Yeah.
Right, so still on the Han Solo, a picture has surfaced from the Spanish set of the movie. And it shows a desert setting with a big building and ships and other equipment. Right, did you have a look? Because the picture should be on in a minute. So we know that Han has a working history with Tatooine. So do we think that this is the desert world, or are we being lulled like we thought in the Force Awakens trailer that Jakku was Tatooine? Didn't
See,
we?
once again, these are the things that we could come up with 100 different things of what it is, and we're never going to know until the movie comes out, until they start telling you that yes, Tatooine is in it or no, because you can remember when the first trailer for Force Awakens came out and we saw Finn wake up.
Yeah.
And we went, oh my God, look, it's Tatooine.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
Because it's a sand planet, you think straight away, oh, it's Tatooine.
Isn't it weird, though, when you think about the Star Wars universe? I was thinking about this recently, is that every planet is just one
ecosystem.
Yeah. So it's all just a forest, a forest moon. That's not, there you go. There's a Hoth, the snow planet, or a sand planet, or a lava planet. It's weird, isn't it? He lacked a bit of imagination when it came.
I mean, Rogue One, Scarif was just look like a beach planet.
Yeah.
You know, they're saying that is the whole planet is just beaches and but those kind of things. I'm trying to sort of not. I'm weaning myself off of getting excited about seeing aerial shots because it doesn't mean anything.
Well, the only thing I thought, that big round thing could be a type of Jabba's palace.
Could be.
That was the only thing I looked at.
It could be some kind of cantina. It could be Han Solo's home. It could be, who knows?
Well, we say
always
this,
say that. Somebody does.
So
we've got Yoda's answers.
Yoda's questions. Quick.
Yeah. No, that's Chewie.
That picture.
Okay, so we've got 2 questions. Here you go for you to ask. Tammy J has said, "What's your favourite Star Wars ship?"
It's going to be corny, but the Millennium Falcon.
I think it has to be just because I was looking at when we went to the Star Wars Identities, and they've got a Millennium Falcon there. Excuse me. I was looking really close at it and looking at the detail that goes into it in all the ships. It's just mad how detailed, and also because there are things that look like fuel lines and stuff, and you think everything's there, and they're not just stuck things on to make it look pretty. It looks like everything has got an actual purpose. Well,
they've worked out to what it does, and all the ships in there were great to look at.
Yeah.
So if you have got a chance to go to the Star Wars Identities before it shuts, I would highly recommend it. But the other, it's not really classed as a ship, but when I used to buy the toys, the toy I really wanted, and I got for one Christmas, which excited me, was the AT-AT or AT-AT.
I had one of them.
And I always thought they looked so cool.
Yeah.
So much so that now, when I saw them on the Last Jedi trailer, it gets me really excited. On Rogue One, when you see them, I get really excited about it. But yeah, I suppose the Millennium Falcon for me is the one, but I've got a real soft spot for that AT-AT for some reason. And
another thing, if you want to get a really good toilet book, that I like to call them, is the cross sections. Fantastic, where it goes into minute detail of what every little bit in a ship is when it cross sections it, and fantastic.
I find it really interesting. I always think, where do they sleep?
That or where do they go to the toilet? Stuff like that. John Joe R said, in the Star Wars universe, who would you go out for a drink with?
Ooh. Princess Padme.
Why? She doesn't seem to me to be somebody that would
let her hair down. I'm just thinking about Natalie Portman.
Oh, right, yeah.
sorry.
So you think of who would you be able to go out with that is going to be fun to go and have a night out with?
I think probably Lando Calrissian would.
You reckon?
I think he'd be a good night out.
Yeah.
I think he'd show you the town, and I think he'd be a good night out. Greedo probably.
Yeah, as long as they don't get involved in any fights.
This boy,
yeah. I was actually thinking someone like Max Rebo from the Max Rebo band. He's a musician, so he's obviously someone that likes to party, or maybe Cy Snootles.
Yeah, oh, that'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Or Salacious B. Crumb.
Yeah, he'd just get a bit annoying.
I think he'd just get a bit annoying. Or maybe Chewie. Chewie might be quite fun, because if you got absolutely rat-assed,
he'd carry
it.
And if there was any trouble, he'd just swat him out of the way, wouldn't he?
Yeah, you could walk in like Billy Big Bollocks.
Yeah, I don't think the Jedis would be much fun. They always seem a bit too straight-laced. So any of those...
Wait for anyone from the dark side. You wouldn't really want to go with anyone from the dark side, because if you started to piss them off, they'd just choke you.
Well, it depends who you
so I don't think
with.
Vader would be fun to go with.
Moff Tarkin. No, he looks a bit too straight, isn't he?
Moff Tarkin. There isn't really anybody.
But genuinely, Lando looks like he'd take you to some good clubs.
Yeah.
Looks like he'd have fun.
And also, he'd be a hit with the ladies, so you might be able to skim a bit off
80? 80 though. I still can't get over that.
Although I do reckon that the best place to go for a party would be Jabba's palace.
Oh yeah.
I reckon that you would find in going to some of the toilets and there'd be some doings going on there. You know, be bits and pieces going on. I bet there's loads of stuff going on.
Where does Jabba go to the loo?
Oh, he just shits anywhere, doesn't he?
That's what that big bed is. It just soaks it all out. It's like a giant pamper.
Plops down into the Rancor pit.
The Rancor, go out for a drink with him.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Leia might be quite good fun though.
Oh, I think she'd be. Yeah, she's
quite a spunky sort of character.
Yeah, she's got spunk and balls.
No, but she is a spunky character.
She is spunky.
Right, so
there you go.
I was going to say, if you've got any questions like that one, do feel free to drop us a line and ask us anything about Star Wars or what you want to know from us about Star Wars. Likewise on the stories, anything you've got to tell us on those stories that we've released tonight, anything you want to chat about, do please comment below. And when you do comment, remember to like the video. That's right. And also, if you want to come and subscribe to our channel, just click on Boba Fett's head there. You'll see the little subscribe button. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification icon, which is the little bell. And then you'll get notified every time we release a brand new video. Ooh. Oh, indeed. Right. So there you go. That's episode 32. 32 in the bag. 32 in the bag. We're homing on up to episode 50. We need to do something big. The big half century. So we might be near Last Jedi. 150 comes around, or thereabouts. What, like 18 weeks' time? It's got to be more than 18 weeks, surely. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We won't be that far away from it, will we? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. So, there you go. Thank you very much. Thank you, Neil. Yes, thank you very much, pal. Thank you very much. We'll see you again next week, so may the Force be with you. Always.